Bienvenidos a un programa más de la serie. Hoy en adelante, un festival de salud con torneos de fútbol y un programa de arte como terapia en United Community Center. También Tamiko Jordan del Milwaukee Center for Leadership Development. Milwaukee Street Soccer es un festival de salud con torneos de fútbol que se realizó por primera vez en las calles de la comunidad latina de Milwaukee. El evento, que incluye educación para la salud, música, comida y entretenimiento gratuito, tuvo como propósito el difundir las tradiciones de la comunidad y promover un estilo de vida activo y saludable.
El evento es juntar a nuestra comunidad en una manera saludable con nuestro deporte, nuestra música, nuestra cultura, de tal forma que continuemos creando nuestra comunidad latina. Yo creo que es sencillo, la calle no se paga nada, se pone un par de arcos pequeños y sacamos a los niños de estar jugando con tanto estar en el sillón jugando en la televisión, ¿verdad?
Hoy nos invitaron a participar aquí al torneo de Milwaukee Soccer Street. Nunca lo habíamos hecho, primera vez, por lo menos yo en México lo había hecho, pero aquí es primera vez. Estamos enseñándole a los chavos, a los niños cómo se juega en México, ahora sí, en las calles.
Si te das cuenta, nuestros niños tienen que viajar a jugar a lugares afuera de aquí, a viajar a media hora, y los papás están trabajando 2 trabajos, entonces les hace muy difícil ir. Entonces, si continuamos creando que las calles son nuestras, no de las gangas, ese es un mensaje muy fuerte.
What we want to do is we want to get the kids into activities, especially physical activities, when they're younger, because it's better for their health, and they should take some lessons in good dietary also.
Estamos aquí por el propósito de traer información primeramente sobre nutrición, trayendo la prevención sobre la diabetes, porque es una de las enfermedades crónicas mundial, pero más que afecta a los latinos. Y ese es el mensaje que queremos traer sobre la prevención de la diabetes, del asma, de todo tipo de enfermedad crónica, pero también sobre la nutrición.
Estamos promoviendo que la diabetes se puede controlar haciendo ejercicio, comiendo más saludable, y estamos aquí compartiendo la información para toda la comunidad que no está informada de que la diabetes se puede controlar con ejercicio y comiendo saludable.
Nosotros tenemos muchos problemas de la salud en nuestra comunidad, un alto índice de niños con asma, un alto índice de niños que están sufriendo de obesidad, y tenemos muchos problemas en nuestra comunidad de la salud, entonces es muy importante que eduquemos, ¿verdad? Entonces, si solamente les decimos que vengan y educarlos, no van a venir, pero si les ponemos el deporte, los inflables, los juegos, la música, el entretenimiento, entonces entra por diferentes lados, ¿verdad? Eso es importante. Tenemos a United Healthcare, tenemos a Sierra Club, a Curtis Ambulancia, la Milwaukee Health Department, tenemos a Voces de la Frontera, tenemos a Excel de Sports Drink, el MATC, el MPS de la Liga García. Tenemos varios grupos que realmente nos han apoyado muchísimo para que este salga adelante, ¿verdad?
Decidimos patrocinar este evento para prevenir obesidad juvenil y asegurar que nuestros niños de la comunidad sigan activos en su día de salud de todos los días. Pues obesidad es algo que sí afecta mucho a nuestra comunidad latina, y aprender cómo cocinar comidas tradicionales pero más saludables es algo importante en nuestra comunidad, y eso es una de las maneras principales para poder prevenir obesidad en nuestra comunidad, especialmente con nuestra juventud.
All of the people that are involved with the Milwaukee Street Soccer Association, thank you again for having this event in our neighborhood. Well, first of all, I think the youth activities in this neighborhood are a priority for me. And soccer, of course, is growing in this neighborhood quite a bit, and I'm real glad that we have the Street Soccer Festival in this neighborhood today.
Está muy contento ver que la clínica de 16 está con nosotros educándonos cómo comer mejor.
Es sumamente importante de traer estos tipos de eventos porque esto es algo simple, esto es algo que lo hemos tenido, viene de nuestros países, viene de México, viene de Sudamérica, viene de Puerto Rico. Y cuando traemos estos eventos a lugares a los Estados Unidos es bueno porque es parte de nuestra cultura primeramente y segundo es una actividad física práctica que podemos hacer.
Personas que no sabemos nada sobre diabetes, pues nos asustamos y no tenemos información correcta, pero gracias a los programas que se hacen, creo que la gente debería de aprovechar más esa información para llevarla a sus hijos, a su familia, a todos sus parientes.
A nuestro amigo Pablo, el organizador de estos eventos. Un fuerte aplauso.
Me siento muy bien, orgulloso de tener lo que tenemos. Lo tenemos toda la comunidad y estamos aportando algo para la comunidad.
Este es un evento muy bonito, se les agradece a ustedes por crear a nuestro vecindario el día de hoy. Yo regresé de diciembre y veo que nuestra comunidad necesita de un poquito más de trabajo de parte de nosotros, ¿verdad? Para fortalecernos y seguir echando para adelante. Entonces trago lo que yo obtengo, lo que tengo un poquito de experiencia, las relaciones que tengo, a darle para nuestra comunidad para seguir para adelante.
En un proyecto de United Community Center para utilizar las artes como terapia, los pacientes tienen la oportunidad de analizar sus sentimientos e ir a través de un proceso de recuperación. Johnny Muñoz, nuestro productor independiente, nos presenta esta historia.
Art therapy is really just a creative way of getting somebody to work like in mental health or psychotherapy. You use painting and music, and you can use movement and things like that to have people express themselves, work through feelings, be able to identify and be able to work through them. It can help to set up boundaries, people discover identity. This catharsis is that just expelling or letting out, externalizing these feelings. And so that works with a lot of the populations that I work with here. And then when people do let out those feelings, sometimes it can be really chaotic and it can be messy. And some of the people that come in here, like to the Human Service Program, their life is just kind of thrown up in the air and they're wanting something different. So it's very chaotic at that point. And so the art can help with that chaos, either bring order or create more chaos for them to then transform, which is when the transformation comes in. The art therapy doesn't cure everything, it's not magical, but it can help plant seeds that then help them on their journey. I'm the only art therapist here at UCC, but I work in collaboration with other counselors, AOTA counselors, and social workers, and just other staff. A lot of interns I work with too. We serve clients that are adults, 18 and older, and they have a drug or alcohol addiction, and we cater to dual diagnosis. So besides that addiction, they're also maybe struggling with depression or bipolar, schizophrenia, different things like that. And we have a residential program. We also have day treatment and outpatient. And then that's the population I do the art therapy with there. We also have an UNA, which is a program that helps elderly that have been through depression, and I get to do an art therapy group with them when they've completed. So the graduates of that program get to receive art therapy as well. And then in the Adult Day Center, our Latino Geriatric Center, where people go, they need a little more care during the day because of dementia, because of other, it could be physical challenges that they have, maybe dressing, bathing. Art therapy group is kind of a behavioral activation, so it's keeping them engaged with each other, with healthy things to do, fun things, and just interesting things too. I definitely see change in the participants. A lot of times they come in right away and they're, I'm not an artist, I can't do this, I can't draw. And it's all these things that we tell ourselves as adults, I can't do this, I can't do that, and we set up these boundaries. But if you allow somebody and give them these means to tap into their creativity, you know, I believe that creativity, it really is in all of us. Sometimes, you know, somebody's just working on a painting or a drawing or something, and they, you know, their self-esteem could be boosted because they didn't know they could do this, or they were able to interact with somebody else in a creative way, or like the big murals that you see here, that's wonderful for setting boundaries. A lot of times when people are going through difficult times in their life, the words aren't enough. You know, or talking about it can be really difficult. And not that, you know, talking is unnecessary in art therapy, but that art is kind of, you know, another extra language. And so it provides that bridge, and so people are able to externalize some of these things that they've hung on to for a long time, or, you know, it's a way of just even letting go, saying this is what happened, and this is something new then that I would like to happen. And with art, it really does kind of allow people to express all kinds of emotions, you know, happy or sad or everything in between. It's either a positive or a negative feeling when really it's just a feeling. So if people can understand that even through the art, that okay, this is a feeling and it'll pass. I don't have to numb it, you know, by using a drug or just stuffing it in the back closet, but expressing it, and then they're able to see that they can still continue on, that it doesn't have to be the end of their life. One of the first bigger murals done, and looked at it and thought, well, this is wonderful, and they feel really good about it. You know, they're proud of what they did, and it would be nice for others to be able to witness you know, what they've done and these big efforts that they've put forth in working together and working on themselves. Just kind of been planning and adding to the collection of what we want to have in the show. Using art, it is a very helpful tool in transforming your life. And it doesn't have to be big, you know, you have to always turn off that judgment part in yourself that says, oh, you know, don't do that, or that doesn't look right. And you can work with that, but really just allowing yourself to create makes the unconscious be able to, I think, come forth more, and you're able to learn about yourself, learn about others. If somebody is battling a drug addiction and they need help for that, they can go in and get kind of screened to see what level of care they would need, whether it be residential or they actually stay inpatient for a while, or if it's something, you know, less restrictive, like a day treatment program or outpatient. And they would come, and you can do screening through Impact, but then they would be able to become a part of the human service program. So that's one way, and if they're in the human service program, then they would be able to have the art therapy. I'm really proud of all of the clients for being a part of the show, to first of all even participate in the art therapy process, because you know, there's a risk involved with creating art. It's kind of just like you're opening up who you are, or opening up your soul to, you know, this is what I am, this is what I'm creating. So for them to be brave enough to say, yep, I'll participate, but then to say, yeah, go ahead and put that in the show and let others see what I've done, I think is really courageous and honorable, and I hope they feel empowered by this show. Self-care is a big thing, you know, taking care of yourself. You can be busy at work, busy, you know, putting up this show, but, you know, take the time to make art yourself, take the time to make music, listen to music, and remember, you know, why you wanted to be in the profession, why you loved art therapy yourself, and hang on to those little moments, because there's not the big aha moments all the time, every day, but when they happen, hang on to those, and that can really get you through the times when it's harder to go to work.
The Milwaukee Center for Leadership Development se enfoca en impulsar a los jóvenes africanoamericanos y a otras minorías a graduarse de colegio. Su directora y fundadora, Tamiko nos presenta los objetivos y métodos de esta organización. Tamiko, thanks for joining us on Adelante.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invitation.
Tamiko, can you tell us about the Milwaukee Center for Leadership Development? How was it founded?
Oh, I know it's a mouthful, but it actually was founded in 2010. And I returned to Milwaukee in 2008, but I worked for an organization in Indianapolis that the MCLD, or the Milwaukee Center for Leadership Development, is based upon. And as I worked there every single day, 2.5 years, 3 years, I continued to say, our kids could use this in Milwaukee. Our kids could use this in Milwaukee. So I returned in 2008, and after being a principal in MPS Partnership School, the children really pushed me to do it. We need this, and I said, you know what, I have to do this. And my daughters, who are actually graduates of the Indianapolis program, they're very supportive. And they said, Mommy, you know, we did not realize how much it's needed in Milwaukee, but we need it. So I decided, hey, you know, I know something works in Indy. Let's see if it'll work here in Milwaukee. And so I started in April.
Tamiko, what is the role that you play, and what are your credentials to hold a program like this?
Well, I'm the executive director and the founder of the MCLD. And I have been in education, formally and informally, for an extremely long time. I worked with Milwaukee Public Schools as a Spanish teacher from '97 until off and on 2004, 2005, when I was making the transition to Indianapolis, where I was a principal with IPS. And then I just, you know, because I had an education degree, I thought that that's what I was supposed to be doing, is working in traditional education. But a friend of mine introduced me to CLD, Center for Leadership Development in Indianapolis, and it was a great fit. It was a great fit. No red tape. I could create programs at will. I could do my research and create the programs. So, but I have all of my degrees are from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I have a degree, a bachelor's degree in Spanish, a bachelor's degree in education, secondary education, as well as my master's in educational leadership. So the passion that I have
is the main key for these kind of positions.
Yes, so I have the experience, the passion, and the education to go along with
Tamiko, tell me about the mission of the program.
You know, the mission of MCLD is, we differ a little bit from that of Indianapolis, whereas we really want to try to instill in our young people hope and give them options for their future. There's a lot of college access programs, and I think they're great programs here in Milwaukee, but in reality tells us that not all children will go to college. Some of the children need to be at the community colleges because that's what their desire says. If you want to go into construction, UW-Milwaukee or UW-Platteville may not be the place for you as a traditional four-year college. You may need to go into a technical vocational program. So myself, even though I graduated from UW-Milwaukee, I first went to Marquette, very, very young, unable to handle it, and so I went into the military. I received a lot of discipline, obviously, in leadership skills, and that's where I needed to be. I needed to be there at that time. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the young people know their options, but that they also have a love of themselves. And so because we're focused primarily on African Americans, we want to make sure that they understand their history, because the African American community, we are somewhat lost when it comes to our history. And I want to make sure that children know your history did not begin with slavery. There's a very beautiful history that's beyond in the African diaspora. Sometimes we may see it as negative, but the African diaspora really and truly, there's a beautiful, beautiful history and culture that flows throughout the world. So we do deal with cultural obstacles, we deal with social obstacles. We make sure that the young people know that you matter.
Tamiko, you mentioned that the program or the center is focused on African American, but when you mentioned that, there is also a mentioning of other minorities. Why other participants can benefit from your program too?
You know, we have some minorities, other minorities other than African Americans who benefit, and I think that it's very important to understand that the African American culture here in the United States is a mixture of a lot of different cultures. It's very important
as well as Latinos.
That. Exactly. And when I think about the two cultures, which, you know, of course, they've come together in my household, they are very similar. They're very similar. And really what it's about loving your culture, because if you understand your culture and you appreciate your culture, it makes you better able to love and appreciate someone else's culture. But you have to really understand your own culture first. So, for example, when I was in Indianapolis, we had a lot of people from the Dominican Republic, and they felt very comfortable being in a situation with African Americans because, of course, they were Latin Americans, but they were dark Latin Americans, so they felt very comfortable. And so even our African American history, I've altered that a little bit too, so that it includes Latin America as well. It includes Asian Americans. It includes a lot of different people, because that African American culture has so many different cultures.
In 1 minute that we have for this interview, can you tell us a little bit about the costs for people to participate in your program, and how can people find more information?
Very nominal fee, extremely nominal fee. Our cost, the cost that it would cost the center, typically a program could run us about $500 per student. But we receive grants and we receive donations from supporters. And so we do pass along a very nominal fee of maybe $25 to $40, at most $75, because some of the classes require more materials that are rather expensive. SAT courses, ACT courses can become very expensive. So we do, like I said, $25 to $75. In some cases, they're free programs. But most of our programs have some sort of fee attached, because we believe in the buy-in. And most times when people do pay just a small fee, the young people take it more seriously. And they understand that this is something I've paid for and I really need to be here. And after a while, the I paid for it goes away, and they still say, I really need to be here.
Where can people find more information about your center?
We are on the web at www.milwcld.org. And even if you just Google MCLD, we'll pop up.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes, you can reach us at 414-943-1302.
Tamiko, it is a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Y al final de un programa más de Adelante, por favor déjenos saber sus comentarios en nuestro teléfono 297-7544 o escríbanos a nuestra dirección de correo electrónico en adelante@matc.edu y visítenos en nuestro sitio del internet en mptv.org y en Facebook. Sintonícenos en Milwaukee Public Television, canales 10.1 y 36.2 todos los martes a las 6:30 de la tarde y en canal 36.1 los miércoles a las 12:30 de la medianoche y los domingos a las 5:30 de la tarde. En Wisconsin Public Television, WPT 38.2 los martes a las 6:30 de la tarde y los jueves a la 1 de la mañana. Y en MPTV BM 10.3 los viernes a las 6:30 de la tarde y los domingos a las 6:30 de la mañana. Soy Patricia Gomez, muy buenas noches.